Immigration enforcement operations are intensifying across the country, separating families and raising questions about detention practices. This week, we examine ICE arrests, DACA deportations, and the conditions facing thousands held in local jails awaiting immigration hearings. Immigration and customs enforcement operations have intensified across multiple states, resulting in arrests that have fractured communities and separated families. In Nashville, ICE agents arrested a woman seeking asylum on May 19th while she was preparing her two young children for a doctor's appointment. Agents were searching for her children's father, but she was not named in the warrant. Days later, she was transferred nearly 700 miles away to a detention facility in Louisiana. At the time of her arrest, she was nursing a 10-month-old infant and also has a 2-year-old child with Down syndrome. Both children remained in the care of a neighbor with no other family support available. Civil rights organizations, including the ACLU of Louisiana and Amnesty International, filed complaints with federal agencies challenging the detention. In Pennsylvania, Jose Acosta, an undocumented immigrant from Honduras with a single prior traffic stop, was arrested by Springdale police on July 2nd after the borough signed a 287-G task force agreement with ICE in November, a federal program that deputizes local law enforcement to enforce immigration law. These cases illustrate ongoing tensions between immigration enforcement and family circumstances, particularly when enforcement actions sweep up individuals not identified as primary targets. The Trump administration has pursued aggressive enforcement against DACA recipients, marking a significant shift from prior policy toward this protected population. Jessica Trevino, a 34-year-old who held valid DACA authorization until April 2027, was arrested in December in a Home Depot parking lot in South Texas alongside her husband. She was placed in ICE custody and issued a voluntary departure order by an immigration judge in February. On March 25, 2026, she was deported to Mexico. The U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services sent Trevino notice of intent to terminate her status, citing unauthorized travel as the reason. Trevino was brought to the United States as a child at age 7 and received DACA authorization at age 20. She has 3 U.S. citizen children currently living near the border, scheduled to start school. Her attorney filed suit in federal court in Brownsville, seeking a declaration that her removal was unlawful and restoration of her DACA status. Todd Schultz, president of immigration advocacy group FWD.US, characterized the enforcement pattern as systematic, stating this demonstrates a deliberate effort to destroy DACA by targeting recipients one by one and manufacturing justifications after the fact. Thousands of immigration detainees are held in local county jails across the country under contract with federal authorities. Kentucky alone houses approximately 1,200 people in roughly 10 jails for ICE, with some facilities holding over 160 detainees at a time. Serafina Bukirwa, a 31-year-old from Uganda, was detained by ICE on July 22nd at Louisville Airport after agents cited a visa overstay. She had arrived in the United States on a valid visa and has a pending asylum claim. Bukirwa, who founded a nonprofit focused on sickle cell disease advocacy, has sickle cell anemia and requires regular medication management. During her detention at Grayson County Detention Center, her brother raised concerns about inadequate medical care, stating she did not receive all prescribed medications in her first days. Grayson County jailer Jason Woosley disputed these claims. The case drew attention from Kentucky lawmakers, including U.S. Rep. Morgan McGarvey, who appeared publicly to address her situation. Representatives Delia Ramirez of Illinois and Gwen Moore of Wisconsin visited Campbell County Detention Center to examine conditions for ICE detainees in the state, signaling broader legislative interest in detention standards. Medical care quality in immigration detention facilities has become a recurring focus of federal oversight. The scale of immigration enforcement operations and detention is substantial. As of February 2026, the Trump administration had deported 86 DACA recipients and arrested 241 others, according to federal data. DACA itself has protected roughly 600,000 individuals who arrived in the country illegally as children since the program's establishment through executive action in 2012. At Grayson County Detention Center in Kentucky, 168 people are held on behalf of ICE, with 138 classified as non-criminal detainees. Across Kentucky, approximately 1,200 people are held in roughly 10 jails for immigration authorities. These figures reflect a broader national pattern where local jails under contract with federal immigration authorities hold tens of thousands of detainees awaiting immigration proceedings or deportation. Many facilities house individuals with chronic illnesses or complex medical needs, raising ongoing concerns about the adequacy of health care in county jail environments not designed primarily for long-term immigration detention. County jails generate revenue through federal detention contracts, creating financial incentives that can conflict with medical care standards and transparency. The numbers illustrate how immigration enforcement has become embedded in local criminal justice systems across the country. Legal and legislative responses to immigration enforcement operations are developing on multiple fronts. Jessica Trevino's federal court case is proceeding in Brownsville, with her attorney seeking a declaration that her removal was unlawful and restoration of DACA status. The lawsuit's outcome may affect how immigration authorities handle DACA status terminations and enforcement actions against other program participants. Given the elevated number of arrests and deportations of DACA recipients under the current administration, any ruling could set a precedent for additional cases involving similar circumstances. In Tennessee, civil rights organizations filed complaints with the Department of Homeland Security Office of the Inspector General, challenging the detention and family separation case. Attorneys representing the detained mother filed requests for humanitarian parole and federal habeas petitions. Serafina Bukirwa's habeas corpus motion and asylum claim are proceeding through Kentucky courts, with her case drawing continued attention from congressional representatives focused on detention facility conditions. Multiple federal courts have previously blocked attempts to end DACA entirely, though questions remain about how the administration can modify enforcement within the program's framework. Congressional delegation activity has increased on detention issues, signaling broader legislative interest in standards and oversight. This has been a deep dive from the American Star News. Full reporting on this story and the rest of the week's coverage is at theamericanstarnews.com. Subscribe for the next briefing.